often use the example that our language is like a recipe of how we lived on the land. When you learn that the old name for Long Harbour was actually S'at, which means like halibut. Wonder what we were doing at Long Harbour, right? It's all like that, right? Everything's woven in so that it's just easy. It's not, there's no ego in our language. Our language is all about helping the ones after us remember what happened, because obviously we didn't write anything. And I also love to highlight that it's not that we didn't know how to write things. We knew how to draw things and carve things that would last, that are like stories and histories. We knew the idea. Elders at home reference remembering things. And when I look at the way that the world is now, I look at the transfer from not a writing to writing, like we're looking at this new AI. Okay, when you never wrote anything, everything you wanted to learn, you remembered. You had to hang on to in your mind. Imagine your mind is like a muscle, and the more you exercise it, the stronger it is. And when you listen to elders and their history, or how to live, or how to do a job, and you have to hang on to it because that's the only opportunity you'll ever have, you are literally flexing your memory. But when you can write it and then leave it and be like, oh, what did he say, and then look at it again, you're not remembering it, you're recording it. Like now, when we want to do anything, we just hop on the internet and go, what did it say again? And you look at it, oh, blink, oh, here's all the information. You don't have to remember it. As you know, like a chef, I've got recipes. Oh, so many recipes in my head. But there's one recipe that I can only access when I'm on the internet, because that's where I learned it. I hopped on there one day, it was like sweet and sour sauce recipe. And I looked it up and I was like, okay, half a cup of sugar, this, okay, great, boom, there it is. But now whenever I want that recipe, it's not in my brain. No matter how much I try to remember that recipe, I get it wrong every time, unless I look it up. And I realized I'm not remembering it because I don't have to. And that's an example of how our language was literally designed so that it was easier to remember things. So when I look at everything here, every word is links me to actions and memories. All of these elders here are literally the elders who raised me, and I'm like, oh look, my there's like Uncle Arvid and Uncle Ron and Auntie Della, and everything there. I eat, as an example, I've got legends about Qwustenuxun, legends about Hul'q'umi'num, legends about Sahwat, or even the word halibut is the word for deer, as an example of the strength of colonization. Okay, we almost lost that word halibut when all of the new arrivals were here. They needed to obtain red meat, right? They had access to fish, but they didn't have access to red meat without having to hunt. So they loved to trade. Our word for red meat is actually smayeth. It's a really easy word. And as a result of that, they would always walk up to our villages and ask for smayeth. And so for 100 years, everybody used the word smayeth for deer. Now we've had to work with language holders and elders, and have to actually look in the archives and relearn that It's the word hoppet is the animal and smyeth is the meat. And now, even all these years after that, we've got elders who will say, I've never heard that word before. The word is smyeth. And you go, Auntie, I know that's what it is, but it's hoppet too, right? And it's that realizing that without even realizing, colonization has like woven into who we are.